day in Paris. We have beautiful weather. Roland-Garros is ready. The stage is set. And we're down to the final two, Sloane Stephens of America and the Romanian and world #1, Simona Halep. You are watching live at RG. Wonderful to have your company. Hashtag RG18 on Twitter. And you can watch the show on YouTube and Facebook. And we're really happy to be with you. We are now just under an hour away from the final, the Roland-Garros 2018 women's final. Sloane Stephens against Simona Halep, and we'll be building up to that match over the next 10 or 15 minutes or so. And I'm very happy to say that alongside me in the studio is Nick McCarville. Nick, it feels like the stage is set perfectly. We have beautiful weather, there's a slight breeze, and we have an intriguing encounter.
Yeah, we really do. The weather could not be more beautiful today for the women's final. I think there actually feels like there's a buzz building on the grounds. Was just walking around doing a couple interviews, getting ready for the show, and it feels like there's an anticipation in the air, and I think we're in for a great final. Both these women felt relaxed yesterday when they did their pre-final press, and they haven't played a three-setter before, but I think we're going to get a three-setter today. That's
the overwhelming thing that came across, is how relaxed they were. Simona Halep saying pressure. I don't feel any pressure. And Sloane Stephens always looks relaxed.
Yeah, Sloane is the epitome of relax. And I think Kamal Murray, her coach, really helps with that. And actually, yesterday, Simona Halep several times during press was talking about smiling more on court and enjoying the moment and trying to really soak in the atmosphere, saying that she's going to treat it as any other match. I don't know how you do that, actually, but she's going to try her best to do so.
Now, Nick spoke about the atmosphere that's been building for the last couple of hours here at Roland-Garros. Someone who is in the thick of it joins us now, and it's Eli. Good afternoon, Eli.
Hi, guys. We're Place des Mousquetaires right here. People are pouring into Court Philippe Chatrier. And behind me, I don't know if you can see, there's a big, big group of Romanian supporters. And something tells me that the Romanian clan is already leading 1-0 over the U.S. clan, because we see a lot more Romanian flags here than U.S. flags. We're going to look for some U.S. flags. I'm going to try and find Camille also, because she's somewhere around the grounds. And hopefully we'll be able to give you a little feel of what's going on courtside minutes coming up to this match.
Thank you, Eli. Cannot wait for the match. And yes, Camille is not with us because she's out there somewhere here at Roland-Garros. Now, we wanted to bring you the head-to-head, so the past meetings between these two and how it stands. It feels like for the media this means quite a lot, Nick, whereas the players say, I don't really read into it that much.
Yeah, no, and I asked that specifically to Simona Halep yesterday, and she said, no, I think for me, you wipe the board clean. You look at 5-2 for Simona Halep in her favor, 2-0 on clay. The last time they met Gigi, I was at that match in Cincinnati, and Sloane Stephens just didn't show up. But we've also seen in the past, just a few weeks ago, Simona Halep didn't show up in her loss against Alina Svitolina. So if they both bring their best tennis today, I think we've got a different atmosphere, a Grand Slam final. Simona Halep trying to win her first. Sloane Stephens trying to go now. She's already 6-0 in finals, and we know that she's the U.S. Open champion.
It does stand out, the fact that they've met 7 times before, and it has never, as you touched on, gone the distance between them.
Yeah, it obviously then would lend to the momentum. Who wins that first set? So that'll be important today. We'll talk about the keys to the match in a few minutes. But overall, no matter who's playing, you want a fast start. You want a good start to feel settled, especially when you're playing in a Grand Slam final.
Now, we like to bring you things on live at RG that you can't get anywhere else, including the players arriving. It's a really simple thing, Nick, but it's nice just to see the car arriving, getting the bags, in they go, looking relaxed.
Yeah, looking very relaxed. You know, Simona Halep has been through this before, right? She's been through this day. She's got her earbuds in. She looks like she knows. She's very comfortable here. She continuously talks about being junior champion here 10 years ago, Gigi. And I think that this feels like home. Eli was talking about the Romanian flags. There will be a lot of Romanian fans in the house today. And I think it'll be a pro-Simona Halep crowd.
So you saw Simona Halep arriving. I think it was around midday that she arrived. Then at around 1:15, she made her way out onto Philippe Chatrier for her warm-up. And there for us, Camille Pin.
As you can see, I stole Eli's favorite position, but there's a reason why. Because Simona Halep, who's going to play the final in like an hour or so, is here practicing with her coach, Karen Dahil. She's actually pretty good on her legs. She was really focused at the beginning of the practice, very concentrated on her legs, on the power that she can put on the ball. She's a player, she needs to hit a lot before a big match because she's aiming for her first win in Grand Slam. So it's a very, very good match for her to play. After this practice, she will go to the locker room. She will rest a little bit, having a quick shower, maybe changing the grips of her rackets, maybe have a little chat with Darren Cahill up in the restaurant because he's not allowed, of course, to go in the locker room with her. And then she will go back to the locker rooms to just relax, focus, listening to music before entering in this huge stadium with 15,000 people waiting for her first Grand Slam.
Thank you very much to Camille, and Eli is on the hunt to find Camille, especially now that she's taken his favourite spot down there on court. But it's interesting to hear Camille just talking a little bit about what Simona Halep now will be going through in the lead up to the final.
Well, and she's used to this, right? This is her third Grand Slam final just in the last 12 months. She was in the final here last year. She was in the final at the Australian Open earlier this year. That was a match a lot of people felt like she could have, should have won. But especially, I like that she used Darren Cahill as her hitting partner today. They want to keep everything as normal as possible. They're on tour together a lot over the year, and I think she's trying to be as relaxed as possible as you can be for a Grand Slam final.
And someone she feels so comfortable with. Who better than the coach? They have such a good relationship between the two of them. Who better to be looking at over the other side of the net?
Yeah, 100%. And they've done, you know, they split for a while. He walked away last year saying, Simona, you need to get mentally stronger. She's working with a mental coach. She's working with a team. You see her trainer, those guys that are with her year round. And so she's keeping it in the family. Her parents are here. Virginia Rizzici, of course, the former champion here, is her agent. There really is this Simona team that travels so well, and they're at it again, but they want that first Grand Slam title.
Now, we brought you Simona Halep arriving and then training. We also have the arrival shots of her opponent today, the American Sloane Stephens, who wasn't even entered, Nick, in this tournament last year. She continued to return from multiple surgeries. Here she is now, walking up for her first Roland-Garros final.
Yeah, you can see her mom, Sybil, who's been by her side and who she thanked after winning the U.S. Open. Kamau Murray, who's a coach, I think, that's brought so much calm. It was funny, we were talking about Sloane was practicing right next to Rafael Nadal, right, today? And a lot of eyes on Rafa, but I actually think that would calm Sloane a little bit. You know, that Rafa's got a lot of attention and pressure on him. And Sloane's always liked to be under the radar, but for some reason, Gigi, she still rises to the occasion. I mentioned that 6-0 finals record on the WTA. That's a pretty good record.
Do you think that's why she was training on court 3 rather than on Philippe Chatrier today?
Yeah, and, you know, players have different patterns, right? Rafael Nadal loves court 4 here. It's just behind our set. And, you know, Sloane, she's played plenty on Chatrier. She's played Simona on Chatrier before, 4th round here a few years ago. Simona won that match in straight sets. But for Sloane, I think, again, she likes to keep things very relaxed. And she is, you know, there's one task at hand today, but she's not going to blow it out of proportion what she needs to do.
Now, yesterday wasn't a day off for today's finalists because they had media duties to carry out, and we were lucky enough to be able to follow them around and just give you a little snippet of a day in the life of Roland-Garros finalists the day before the big day.
I just try to go day to day, take it moment by moment. I try not to put too much pressure on myself. I just try to stay relaxed and enjoy it.
It's a very special moment, and to be able to play 2 finals in a row at this tournament means a lot for me. And as you all know, it's my favorite Grand Slam. I feel like home here. It's nice to face another big challenge.
Thank you. Thank you.
For me, staying calm is the most important thing, and then being able to take advantage of the confidence that you do have when you're playing deep into a slam is super key.
Thank you very much, everybody.
So we were playing tomorrow, but I don't know if you heard, she said you were a top. There's a lot.
said that I feel pressure, not me, obviously. I don't feel pressure. I feel that it's a big challenge for me, and it's a big chance to win one of my dream tournament.
C'est bon, Laurent, c'est bon.
Face à la numéro 1 mondiale en finale, eh bien c'est l'américaine Sloane Stephens qui sera donc en face pour un premier titre à Roland-Garros.
It's really interesting to see what they got up to the day before the final, and it's not relaxing and being back at the hotel. There was a lot to do here on site at Roland-Garros. And while we didn't see a lot of them there when we left the court, two men who've been very busy are the men guiding the careers at the moment of the two finalists, Kamau Murray and Darren Cahill.
Sloane's had an incredible run since coming back. She didn't start playing until midway through last year on the hard courts, so the fact that she already has a Grand Slam in her possession, and she's in contention again for a second one. It's an amazing effort. She's a wonderful athlete. They have played a couple of times before, but that was very early in her comeback on the US hard courts last year. But she's an improved player now. She's going to be a tough competitor, and Simona will as well. So I'm looking forward to a great match.
You know, they had a good battle first round in DC last year where Sloane had a set point. It was during Sloane sort of coming back from the injury, so I think the endurance wasn't quite there. You know, for this weekend, I'm just really looking for Sloane just to have fun, just to breathe, and just to play a little bit more free. You know, having had a Grand Slam, she's kind of got that pressure off of her, and now she can just sort of compete. And so as long as she continues to compete, you know, the way she has the previous matches, then I think, you know, she'll be in a good position to, you know, compete, have fun, please the fans, and please the crowd.
She seems very relaxed. She's definitely competing. Nick, you put together a few keys to this final.
Yeah, you look at an 0-3 for Simona Halep in Grand Slam finals. I think the pressure is actually on her, even though she says it's not. She's got to stay aggressive and defend well. We know she can defend well, but she was so aggressive against Muguruza in that semifinal. Used that today against Sloane. And the mental strength, she's talked about that, Gigi, a lot about how she's improved that. She needs to use that today. And then Sloane Stephens, as she's done, play freely, swing for the fences. She has won 74% of her first serve points. That's the top of the leaderboard, this tournament, this whole tournament. So she's got to do so 77% against Madison Keys, and then avoid getting drawn into those long baseline rallies with Simona Halep, because those are the points that Simona Halep are going to win. Sloane Stephens wants to take command. We call it serve +1. She's got to serve well and then open up the court and then bash that ball away. Boom.
And in terms of how they made it to the final two, if we show you their road to the Roland-Garros final, I think what stand out and is very striking is Simona Halep. She came back and recovered from a set against Alison Riske in the first round, and then she came from a set down against Angelique Kerber before crushing the Wimbledon champion and the former French Open champion Garbine Muguruza. Whereas for Sloane Stephens against Camilla Giorgi, I think we forget because it feels so long ago, Giorgi served for the match on 2 occasions.
Yeah, and twice actually in those service games. Sloane was 2 points from being out. She won that match. That was in the third round. She won it 8-6 in the third set, out on court 18. But since then, she has been locked in. That's the only time she's dropped a set this tournament. She looked so good against Madison Keys yesterday, or excuse me, a couple days ago. Maybe hesitated closing out just a little bit. But again, Sloane's just played so freely, so relaxed. It almost looks lackadaisical out there, but that is when she's playing her best tennis.
Yep, it's exactly as her coach wanted it. But Simona Halep says she doesn't feel any pressure. Now, I believe we have brought together, and hopefully Eli's not unhappy, Eli, that Camille was in your favourite spot, Eli and Camille.
Well, Camille and I will settle that later. She had no business being in my spot, but I did find her. I tracked her down. Camille, tell me, this match, this final, Halep, Stephens, the keys. One girl, one girl.
The key for Halep is just keep going, playing the same way she played against Kerber and Muguruza. Very aggressive, putting a lot of rhythm in the ball. And for Steven, just waiting for Halep maybe to have little mental breakdown, to be very steady, very consistent. And we see how Halep is going to deal with pressure. Though this is the key for the match, is Halep just being more powerful. But anyway, I hope the final is going to be a great fight, because that's what we expect for tennis and for women tennis.
You saw them practice. One practiced on Philippe Chatrier, the other one practiced on a side court. What does that mean?
Yeah, actually, like Simona Halep, she wanted to be on side, feeling the atmosphere, and maybe Steven's more like being on the side is better for her. So everyone has, something to deal with. But in the end, it's going to be a huge fight anyway. Being outside or on side, they are ready, both of them.
Okay, we're going to go and enjoy it. Again, in the crowd here, Gigi and Nick, we're hearing a lot of Simonas. We're seeing a lot of Romanian flags. And right now, the only American flag that we see, Philippe is going to show you, is right up there.
But there is one. At least we can see one, and I'm sure there'll be more a little bit later. And I think it was good that Camille and Eli chose a neutral spot, not court side, because they might have fallen out a little bit because it's Eli's spot, but against the RG wall. It's fabulous. A lot of people stand there and have their photos taken. So time is nearly up for us, Nick. I am going to ask you to pick a winner.
Yeah, I actually did an interview last night for, there's some American flags down here, I'm sure of it. I did an interview last night for American radio asking me about this final, and Simona Halep was my pick from the start. So I think today, Camille is right. I think we're in for a great women's final. I think we're in for a 3-set final, but I do think Simona Halep wins her first Grand Slam and comes through as Roland-Garros champion.
Can I revert to my original pick?
No, you can't.
No, can't.
You switched.
All right, sorry. You've been watching Live at RG. It's been a pleasure to have your company. Now, for a little bit later, we'll be back with you roughly half an hour after the final finishes. Use the hashtag RG18. Let us know your winner. You simply have to put one word, Stevens or Halep. We'd love to know how you're thinking out there. Maybe you want to add the scoreline, but do join us a little bit later, around half an hour after the final finishes, for reaction to the Roland-Garros 2018 women's final. Simona Halep against Sloane Stephens. Until later, take care, enjoy the final, and we'll be back with you soon.